So now we're finally out. I'm in California. I'm in North Carolina. I am the only non-GMO verified vodka owned by a woman. I am the best tasting vodka out there, hands down. I use organic non-GMO corn. I'm American made. We invested in a really wonderful filtration process that takes out all the impurities. You have a really wonderful mouthfeel, and you can drink it room temperature, and it's delicious. And people have told me that they don't get hangovers from it because it is so clean, because good spirits not give you a hangover.
Welcome back to the London Food Network podcast. I'm your host, Sebastian Candelon, founder of the Fresh Fish Shop, the London Food Network, and of course, Embrace AI Consultancy, the sponsor of the show. Today, I'm joined by the incredible founder behind Tina's Vodka, a purpose-driven spirits brand built around honesty, mental health awareness, and real impact. Tina has created a vodka with quality at its core and a mission that goes far beyond the bottle. We're going to talk about her journey, the challenges, and how she's using business as a platform for change. Tina, super excited to welcome you to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I appreciate it.
So, as always, we need to dive deep into Tina, really. So tell me, Tina, what's your story and why vodka?
I've always been a fan of vodka. I was not a big drinker, actually. I came from a very European household. My family's Greek, so alcohol was never off limits or anything like that. I grew up in the South. But I worked in restaurants, and my first job actually was washing dishes in my dad's restaurant, 8 years old. This is back in the 80s.
Wow.
So restaurants and food and celebrating over food and coming together over food and drinks has always been part of my life. So when I went to college, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, and then I went to Los Angeles to pursue a career in entertainment, songwriting. I worked in music publishing, I worked in music venues, and so just from a chain of events, I ended up bartending again just because it made more money and it freed up my time. And then that job evolved into me eventually buying liquor from music venues and festivals. So when I was a buyer at the Roxy for a long time, legendary Roxy Theater, and I was tasted on everything because everybody wanted to be there. And that's when I realized how many vodkas that are organic and were just terrible. They were just too harsh. And I'm like, and then I found out about all the additives hiding in alcohol and beer and wine, which to me is outrageous. Because at least with the food, an ingredients label, but with alcohol, because it's under a different category, they don't have anything in there. So they could be hiding sugar, glycerin, all types of things. So I remember tasting so many things. I'm like, can somebody make an organic vodka that actually tastes good and is a craft vodka? So I decided to do that. And it's a true and authentic story of just life experience coming together, buying alcohol for music venues as a musician, as a songwriter to create something new. So I've always been looking for the new idea and trying to bring something to fruition into the planet to make things better if I can. So that was the whole thinking behind Tina's organic vodka. And then the pandemic came. Literally 3 weeks after I signed the paperwork, the world shuts down. I don't have a job. We have no idea what's.
Oh, wow.
It gave me a lot of time to think about things, what's really important, which really our health is the most priceless. We realized pandemic, especially living in fear, like that was really, I think, the strongest thing that I took away from that. I don't want to live like that again. I don't want to be afraid of my neighbor, afraid to leave the house, and getting your health where it needs to be and getting your mind where it needs to be. And okay, what am I going to do? How can I be a positive force in this earth? In my lifetime here, what can I contribute? And actually, I wrote a song during the pandemic. It's called The Magical Ones, and it's about going within to get your own power, your imagination, and bring it to fruition onto this planet. And so the plan was to release my album, which I worked 2.5 years on, with the vodka, festival season of 2020, which clearly didn't happen. So by the time we got into the market, was it 2 years later? And
Wow.
yeah, so now we're finally out. I'm in California. I'm in North Carolina. I am the only non-GMO verified vodka owned by a woman. I am the best tasting vodka out there, hands down. I use organic non-GMO corn. I'm American made. We invested in a really wonderful filtration process that takes out all the impurities. You have a really wonderful mouthfeel, and you can drink it at room temperature, and it's delicious. And people have told me that they don't get hangovers from it because it is so clean, because good spirits
Mm.
not give you a hangover. So I'm very excited about the product. I think it's wonderful, and I'm spreading the word of non-GMO, organic, and regenerative agriculture. Because going back to the health thing, your health, your body is your temple. And don't use pesticides or GMOs. And I really researched how really bad GMOs are for us. It's not just about what you're eating, it's about how it affects the environment. So you've got fields full of pesticides that are killing everything. The soil turns into dirt instead of being soil. There's no worms, there's no bugs, there's no butterflies, there's no bees, because everything is killed. And they now have studies out, fields actually yield less than non-GMO and organic.
Wow.
So I really want to spread the good news of the food and drinks that you consume can have a positive impact on the environment and therefore back onto ourselves. Not only when you're eating it, but when you are out in the world and there's not so much glyphosate. There's not so much of these deadly chemicals can really affect change, because I believe most people want that.
Wow. Interesting, isn't it? Because I think we talked about this before when I met you before the actual podcast, before today. We talked about, I hadn't really heard of any drink being organic in the alcohol realm, apart from maybe wine. I don't think I'd ever heard of any other, even beer. I'd never heard of anything that's been organic. I don't think I assume that it would be in the sense, it's stupid, isn't it? But naively think that it would be, because you think it's a drink. What could you do to it? And like you say, the ingredients list. I actually learned the ingredients list thing from this cider producer that I did a podcast with not too long ago. And he told me that exactly that, because his cider is non-alcoholic, he has to declare all the ingredients.
Yes.
But if it was alcoholic, he wouldn't have to declare any of the ingredients. And I was like, that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Who made the rules up? It doesn't make any logical sense at all, is it? It's crazy.
I agree with you completely. And that is also one of my other goals, that I would like to work with the TTB, and especially with this whole MAHA growing, this movement of let's clean up food, especially in America, because our food is so contaminated. Like the I sent you, where the UK version of McDonald's fries has 4 ingredients, while the American version has 11.
Yeah, it's bonkers, right? I don't understand. Like, even the UK's one's not, I'm sure, particularly good for you. But if the UK one is so good still, or the European version, why? It doesn't. Is it a profit thing? Is it what? Because it preserves it for longer and bulks it up or something? It
cheaper.
Increases the taste profile artificially.
There's that one ingredient. It's like it's 27 syllables, but it's literally a foaming agent that you add to the oil, so you don't have to change the oil often. So it's purely about money, even though it's a poison and it's banned in most countries, but it's not banned in the United States. So exactly, that's what I want to do. Like, at least get the customer aware, so they can be in the liquor store and look, oh, wait a minute, there's yellow number 2 in this tequila. I'm not going to drink this one. I'll buy one that doesn't have it. At least give us the option. I was at the ABC store tasting, and this woman met me, and she's into organic wine, and her head almost exploded. She's, are you kidding me? There's actually hidden additives in spirits. Vodka, it's clear. There's nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Especially vodka, right? One thing is what be pretty much the purest of the pure.
Should be.
Should be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You think it's odorless, it's tasteless, it's just, no. And so people are adding glycerin, and I've heard about this one fake sugar that's 8,000 times sweeter than real sugar. So it doesn't even take much to do it, because if you stay under a certain threshold, you don't have to put anything on there. So when you actually see, I think it's like Aperol, a few things like that have such a high content of that, they have to.
I was an Aperol Spritz addict over the summer.
Really?
I was drinking it by the gallon. It was terrible.
Yeah, take a look at actually the European version might be different than the American version.
I'm not going to drink when I go to the States. I would just carry one of your bottles of vodka around with me.
That's exactly, that's a good rule of thumb, though. If there's look for the people, the brands are saying additive free, not gluten free, everybody's gluten free, but non-GMO. typically, like my brand, I actually have the ingredients listed on mine. And if you can see
Okay.
here, I have ingredients, water, and spirit from organic corn.
Wow.
And then to that, I'm not allowed to put the non-GMO logo on my label yet. And that's another thing I want to work on with the TTB to be like, let's add the ingredients and let me say, look how clean my corn is. The
Yeah.
non-GMO project is legitimate. They tested everything possible. So if you see the non-GMO logo on something, they've done the
Wow.
great work.
Do you know what? Actually, got a bit of a tangent here, but I literally just spoke to this young man. Really interesting. I won't mention the name just yet. Look out for the podcast. I'll be podcasting him in January. I'm really excited about that because he just blew my mind with what he's doing. So he's in the States as well, in San Francisco. And essentially what he's doing is profiling all the different seeds, or at least all the different variations of crop that over time were GM'd, right, to be X, Y, and Z. And they're basically profiling what they used to be. And now, like, naturally, they're trying to find, for example, so similar to what you said. So anyway, I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm going to let the podcast do that. Essentially, there's a way now through creating the right crops or using the right crops, whereby actually you can easily use up to more than 75% less pesticides because of the selection of the actual seeds for the terrain in which you're planting it. Because I didn't realize this. There's like hundreds, sometimes thousands of different actual variations of a particular crop.
Yeah.
And each one has different strengths, and they're all very different. And actually, if you select the right one for what you're trying to do, so let's say you're in a drier area, then you try and find the kind of strain that's actually naturally more used to dry areas, so it won't suffer so much from less water and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to let him explain it, but watch out, because I thought that was a fantastic idea, and he's gaining a lot of traction for it, and he's had a lot of investment. So
That's
hopefully that'll be the way forward. It's so funny, isn't it? Like all these things that are such obvious solutions, really, when you talk about it like this. Like, what is it that drives? Obviously, greed drives it mostly, but I never understood that. It's if you got all this money, you're a huge company, you can easily turn around things for the better.
I agree. That's what I would like.
Why?
Yes. What's the point of having all this extra money if you're poisoning the planet and you're poisoning everyone? And that's another thing.
Exactly. And
You're
parents, they have children. I'm sure their children want a McDonald's.
breathing in the same air. You're drinking the contaminated water too, because I truly believe humanity wants the same things. We want to thrive, be healthy, raise a family, love each other, have a life. But I think there's a lot of people who just, that greed you're saying, like it was like with seeds, working with the planet, cooperating. Don't ask the planet to do unnatural things. If you give the soil and the seeds the right atmosphere, you don't have to do all those things to it. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, you don't have to spray. The crops are even worse than you think. Like when you go back to the seeds, there's a BT corn, and the pesticide is already inside the corn. So, and what its mechanism is that when the bug eats it, its stomach explodes. So what do you think it would do to a human? If that pesticide is in there, and it's not even that you ate that corn, you ate the chicken that ate that corn, you ate the cow that ate that corn. So no one thought about how that would affect a human being or everyone else. They're just like, oh, you know what? There's a bug touching the corn. Let's kill it. No, that's why I really want to spread the word of organic, non-GMO. You don't have those problems. Normal corn grown from this earth without all of that is good for you. It's an ancient grain. It doesn't have to have all those things. We don't have to help nature like that. If you want to help nature, work with it. There's natural pesticides, like there's garlic you can put out there that'll help the bugs that way. There's flowers you can plant next to plants that are natural deterrent from these bugs. There's other ways that aren't detrimental. Like I would say, if you're looking at a field and somebody's in a hazmat suit spraying it, you should not be eating that. Why would you want that in your body? And with vodka, glyphosate survives the distillation process. So
really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Drinking something that was made from a GMO corn, GMO wheat that was sprayed with pesticides. And that's another thing. Glyphosate is not the only pesticide. Any of them. Some of them are even stronger than that. Or, so you've got the pesticide, you've got the GMO seed, and then you've got additives. And then you wonder why, like you want to kill yourself the next day because your body is. And then to that, then one of the biggest growing categories of ailments right now is non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome. Like, I think something like it's at 40%. So without the alcohol, people are having this fatty liver problem, which used to only be alcoholics at the end of their life had this. But what's the difference? It's all the additives, food coloring, pesticides, all these random things in this food that are far worse than anything alcohol could ever do to a liver. So I want to spread
Real
news that you could drink like my vodka, Tina's organic vodka. You can drink
.com.
the medicinal. There's medicinal qualities. Like when they
Yeah.
make tinctures, right? I told you before, the apothecary.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up actually. I was curious about this exactly. Go on.
Yes.
Let's talk about that because that was actually quite enlightening and reassuring. It kind of makes me want to go, right?
Yeah, because back in the turn of the century, really, like to go back to what you're saying with the greed and the corruption, it's just big industry taking over everything and just want to take over and take things out of its natural state. Like the cows used to be walking around on the fields, and that was part of the way nature intended it because their feces are part of the fertilizer. And then it goes into the ground where it's supposed to. But big pharma, big agriculture, separated them. And now they have the cows in one place and then the agriculture in another. So this big brouhaha about cows being bad for the environment because their poop just sits on the ground and then goes straight up to the atmosphere instead of going into the plant where it's supposed to go. So if they recoupled that, we wouldn't have this problem. And also going back to that comes from big pharma as well. The Flexner report I told you about, they basically put out a report that said anything that's not in a pill form, a pharmaceutical form, is quackery, is not to be taken seriously. So anything like natural foods,
Yeah, anything non-synthetic.
yeah, anything that wasn't that was like not to be taken seriously. So all of our medical schools are based on that. So there used to be apothecaries where you and I would go. I would get a drink specific to me since I'm a unique individual. You would get one unique to you. And because some of the herbs and some of the things they put in it is not water soluble. So the alcohol helps it get absorbed by your body. Bodies naturally ferment things. Fermentation naturally happens in the world. Fermented foods are excellent for you. So if you're going to drink something clean and drink something like you were saying, like over dinner, you meet up with your friends after work and you have a nice cocktail, have one cocktail just to relax and enjoy and then call it a day. But make sure that cocktail is clean.
I was thinking as well, obviously in the kind of Eastern European side, Russia, Poland, they love their vodka, right? And people always kind of make jokes and fun out of this kind of way where the vodka is pretty much their go-to for most things. But actually, I guess it mixes in with what you're saying, especially as a pure, clean vodka.
Yeah.
Probably does many things. A, it warms you up, I'm sure. And B, it probably does help avoid certain illnesses as well. Can't really think of anything else. I guess morale. If you're in the freezing cold all your life and it's dark, a couple of shots of vodka is going to help you get through it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like we've developed this kind of all or nothing approach, I find. We're at this kind of crossroads at the moment with alcohol where, and I've developed this thing as well where it's all or nothing. I feel like I try and teetotal myself not to drink anything. Or if I do, I go to the other extreme. But somewhere in the middle is actually where the happy medium is. And it's through talking to some non-alcoholic. I think it's like a new wave of these kind of non-alcoholic mixer drinks. I don't know if that in the States is a big thing or not, but there's a few brands I spoke to, clean stuff, like really good quality ingredients lists, really tasty. And the idea is to have these mixer drink where you can add the alcohol like vodka or whatever, or you can have it non-alc. And the whole idea behind is this hybrid model of going out to enjoy yourself. Because especially after COVID and all these kind of times where we were so segregated as a society, the kind of, or at least in the UK, the kind of pub culture, a lot of this kind of drinking culture, like dissipated. And with the rising cost of living and alcohol and being out in the first place, less and less people are going out, and more people are spending all this time at home and not being part of any particular community. Like when we were younger, I'm sure it was the same in the States, going out and drinking was, I don't know, it was like a normal part of your weekend, right? That was just what you did. It was just how you socialize and you got on with people. And these days, I think that's not happening so much. People are drinking at home on their own more if they do drink, or not drinking at all and not actually spending any time in these social kind of places like we used to when we were younger. But I think like this kind of like hybrid model where you can have a nice clean vodka or two, a couple of non-alc drinks, and then maybe another vodka later on to finish off the evening. And that's a nice thing. I wish you'd like maybe celebrate that and bring that back rather than this kind of teetotal don't drink at all thing.
Yeah, the extremes. It's not good for anyone. And I think part of that movement is because, and I've experienced myself when I had that dirty tequila, I did not know it was dirty. I thought I was going to die the next day. I was poisoned. Like it was worse than throwing up. It was not okay. And I think additives, they're really bad. Like red number 5, yellow number 2, and you have no idea. And I'm talking about expensive brands do it. So that's part of it. Is that, okay, you know what? I don't want to ever feel like that again. I'm never drinking. And it's not the alcohol, it's the hidden additives. And, same thing. Wine in particular in the United States is really dirty. I did so many.
Yeah, you were saying about that. Tell us about that. That was baffled me. I could not believe that's actually the case.
When I heard about this, because I've gone to so many tastings and I talked to, like, as a buyer for a big company, I'm educated on everything. And when I found out about Mega Purple, I was just blown away by that. So it's a fake chemical grape juice they can add to red wine and not tell you. And talking about an $80 bottle of wine from a grocery store has that in it. And it's a color correctant. And then there's some places that basically they don't even make, it's like a centrifuge. There's so much fake chemistry going into alcohol now. And they wonder why nobody wants to drink that, because it's not natural. Your body's, what is this? It can't process it like the hangovers. Like it's one thing to have too much alcohol, even as a dumb kid when I was in college. It's from poor quality or too much sugar. We didn't know. But now as an adult, I would never drink. You can premiumize your alcohol, but it's not fair that you think you're drinking clean and you're not. And that's what I think is the backlash. And it's like some of these brands have actually done this themselves. Because think about when they talk about decaf coffee, sometimes the process of it makes it more toxic regular. That non-alcoholic alcohol, I feel, is the same. If you're not going to drink alcohol, just have a Diet Coke, not a non-alcoholic beverage. Coca-Cola here, because of the Maha movement, they are now bringing sugar back instead of high fructose corn syrup in the Coke. I think that's fantastic. When they talk about Walmart, who's the big private label grocery store brand, is they've got 3 or 4 brands, and they are voluntarily taking the food coloring and the chemicals out of their food. And it comes back to, it's just cheaper, easier. There's a longer shelf life because real bread will mold. But you've got bread with 30 ingredients. It's going to last. Digest it. So I think that point, people are talking about food in America, but no one's really talking about the alcohol yet. And I would like to lead in that and be like, hey, you can have an alcoholic drink. Just have a clean one, drink in moderation, and you'll get all the positive benefits from alcohol, because there's tons of positive aspects with your blood pressure, with, just like you were saying, you get relaxed. And when I feel like I'm getting sick, I'll have a shot of vodka, swirl it around because it goes through your tonsils. Comes through here, it'll kill all that bacteria with alcohol. Remember when you were a kid, you ever have like your grandmother or someone tell you to have a shot of tequila or whiskey when you felt sick?
No, well, I didn't get given that, but I knew that people did get, like my granddad, for example. In fact, they used to get told to smoke a cigarette as well, but that was a long time ago. But it's funny, like my wife is going to kill me for saying this, but so she's from Estonia, and when she's about to get sick, she does this vodka scarf thing, and I always laugh at her because she literally soaks her scarf in vodka and then ties it around her neck, and she swears by it. There you go, exactly. So now she's right again, isn't she? The
natural. That's the thing. You cure that naturally, because that was another reason why the apothecaries were a problem, because you can't patent that. The 3 of us would go in there and we'd all have different cocktails. There's no patent. You have a pill and it's the same exact formula. That's a patent. That's billions of dollars. So instead of having something unique to the individual, suddenly everybody gets the same pill. I don't think that's healthy. I think we're living the results of that. now where we're this, especially in America, we're the sickest nation on the planet. We spend the most on healthcare. What is going on? And a lot of it's just the hidden chemicals in food. And I didn't even know when I started really reading the labels, I felt like I couldn't eat anything.
Like a bit of a rabbit hole, isn't it, with these kind of things?
Yeah. So that's
Mm.
why I feel like this time on the planet post-pandemic, where people are now making different choices or still recovering from all of that. Like you're saying, we realize how much we do need community and how much breaking bread with your neighbors, with your friends brings you together in ways that is different than just over the phone or text messaging or whatever. You need that FaceTime, and there is like
Mm.
a bond that happens, and over food and drink. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Not only
Yeah, absolutely.
because
Yeah.
alcohol's been around for thousands of years, but why in the last 150 years was it so demonized? And because it got really polluted here in the States in particular. So I would like
Yeah, I think the laws have become, in fact, the laws are still very much have remnants of the
permission.
abolition times, right? There's
Oh,
all kinds of crazy laws I hear in the States, very difficult. There's this three-tier system and all these kind of limitations that are not just by state, but by county. And even like within the county, there's different rules and laws. Nightmare.
total nightmare. And because the people have their hang-ups about alcohol, and I think that was one of the great things from my childhood is that I grew up in a European household where we didn't have the hang-ups. And I remember going to spring break, this is back in the late 80s, and being with my friends at the beach, and they're so excited to drink. And I just remember thinking, what's the big deal? I could do this anytime I want.
Mm.
Have that taboo. And I think when you add that to it, it makes it this wanted thing instead of just, hey,
Mm.
responsible and drink whatever you want. It wouldn't have that so many laws against it. Like it's almost like the self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, you're saying I can't have it? I'm gonna go get it now because.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think there's
Yeah, I'm curious though, Tina, why vodka, right? So you're Greek. I don't want to sound biased here, but with a Greek origin, your family must have been horrified that you chose vodka as your go-to spirit. Why not ouzo?
oh my gosh, ouzo. I
Mm.
actually really ouzo. It's good with the Greek food. It really complements well.
Yeah.
That
I
one,
love a bit of ouzo, actually.
huh? Right?
I
Like,
love ouzo. I like it with ice and some water, actually, diluted a bit.
mm-hmm.
So this the nicest kind of unique flavor. It's beautiful. It's really lovely.
Really beautiful. It's just for me,
Mm.
it's a little too. I couldn't drink that all the time. It's just a little too,
Mhm.
the licorice is very strong, and maybe I'm
Mhm.
sensitive to it, but I do get hungover from that. Maybe that'll be my
Mhm.
next spirit to create like one that does.
Yeah, maybe that's why you need to exactly clean it up.
But I was always a vodka drinker. I love Bloody Marys. I love a dirty martini. Anything with olives, I love, and I love organic corn. I grew up eating grits. I remember playing with the lard in my dad's restaurant. We ate sausage, we ate bacon, we ate
Right.
butter, and everybody was skinny. Like I was this big around. I didn't put on weight until I was my teenage years when it was the mid 80s and when the whole gluten and everything was really
Mm.
real. All the cheapening of the ingredients started to really take hold. It was also with the cigarette companies, like we talked about when they went out of business. They didn't go out of business.
Mm.
RJR Reynolds went and bought all the food companies and hired
Mm.
their chemists to make the food more addicting. I see a
Mhm.
podcast about that. You got to watch it. So that's
Mm.
why,
Oh, dude,
yeah, it's engineered to make you want to eat more and buy more and spend more instead of,
sad, isn't it? God,
yeah,
awful.
yeah, exactly. So same thing with the alcohol. I really wanted to contribute something that it's the number one category in the United States. People drink vodka more than they drink tequila or
Oh
bourbon.
yeah,
Oh yeah, always. It's just vodka
interesting.
soda, vodka tonic. That's usually,
Yeah, more than whiskey
yeah. Oh yeah.
and more than rum as well.
Oh yeah. Rum is tough in the United States. Unless it's a
Oh,
tea bar or somewhere specific. Like when we were in the music
interesting.
venues, I could have a case of rum for a whole year and not go through it. I go through
Really?
tons of
Wow.
cases of vodka, whiskey, and tequila, but rum,
Wow.
the other one, gin, they're a little more
Right.
niche, I would say, in what my experience is. Something that could be far reaching, easy to mix, easy for everyone to mix with. And yeah, just my history with corn, it smells better. Some people
Mm.
still think that wheat based spirits still have gluten in it, which is impossible. The gluten does not survive the distillation process, but glyphosate.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
But that's another thing. People tell me who have celiac or who are sensitive that when they drink a wheat-based vodka, they feel it. So I wanted to make sure I could include everyone in my vodka, 21 and up, of course,
Mm.
and just have something that's easy to drink and clean. And they gave back to the environment. I want my vodka to help farmers go to regenerative agriculture. Like my dream is to be in the field with a farmer and be like, Tina's Vodka just bought this guy his first no-till plow. He's coming off of the pesticides and we're converting everything to organic, non-GMO. We're bringing bees back. We're putting the cows back in the pasture. That's what I want to do. And 30% of the corn grown in the United States goes to making spirits. And if
Mhm.
all of that, if we could somehow convince everyone to go organic, non-GMO corn, the environmental impact would be amazing.
Yeah, right.
Just think of all the birds and the bees. Everybody's worried about the bees. Then stop spraying them with pesticides and stop buying food that was sprayed with the pesticides. It's not only killing you, it's killing the environment. And
But do you think that what you're saying, because we all know, it's funny, you talk to anybody, everybody understands and agrees with it,
yeah.
right? But do you think that the movement is there? Do you think that there's enough pressure now from a consumer level that all these bigger companies are having to be forced at least into having a go at making things better?
Let's
Is there enough pressure with some movement to make things better?
Yes, this movement with the MAHA movement is making a difference because they've already banned some of the things at FDA, some of the food coloring, and some of these big companies are seeing the writing on the wall like, oh, wait a minute, this shift is coming. Let's get out ahead of it and let's go ahead. They're voluntarily taking these things out. And I want them to continue
Hmm.
raising the bar because, like I said, the food you have, we don't have that option. We have American companies making a version for the United States and making a version for Europe. United
Hmm.
States version has all the chemicals and the food dyes in it. And they already make one for you guys, but they make the cheaper version here, even though it's poisoning us. So that's been a fight for a long time, and people have made changes. But now that they have someone actually in the halls of government that can implement stricter rules, this is unprecedented. This is a whole nother ballgame that we've had before. Because I think over time, people just didn't realize what was going in the food. Like I said, I was a kid and I was eating sausage and lard, and no one was obese. There was maybe like one fat kid in class, maybe. Now it's something like 40% of the kids, I think it's higher than that actually, have
Really hard, yeah.
diabetes. It's like, that's absurd. And it's the food. And I think, like you're saying, the people want it, but people don't know. I don't think they really understand how bad.
Do you think it's also a case that maybe the kind of new generation of people coming into these companies also come in with a different kind of moral feeling? Because I feel that the younger generations below us, are much more mindful about these kind of things, a lot more than our age generation. I think like our age generation is like, unless you actually do the work to find these things out, you don't really know. The younger generation seems to default already to be more inquisitive, a bit more
Yes.
demanding, shall we say, about what they are eating or not. They seem to be much more kind of health focused than we ever were. So where's that coming from? And do you think maybe that's driving some of this change?
I think so. And I think that's why it's gone to the extreme. Okay, I don't drink alcohol at all. Also, the internet has helped the social,
Mm,
like when there was no internet for us, or the same thing, like you're saying, the food we ate was different back then. Gatorade
yeah, right.
didn't have all these chemicals in it back then. McDonald's didn't. McDonald's used to fry in beef tallow. It used to be real meat. I remember this whole expose on this pink sludge. Did you ever hear about that? I don't know if you want to hear of it.
Okay.
But basically, it's just they somehow use loopholes in the laws. There's this one big one. This is huge. It's called GRAS, GRAS, generally regarded as safe. And that was meant for salt, baking soda, things like that. Okay, we don't have to analyze this because it's generally regarded as safe. So a lot of food companies use that loophole for their chemicals. And no one was testing, no one was minding the store. There's changes to the FDA where cosmetics banned red number 5 30 years ago, but it was still allowed in food through the FDA here. So why was that? And I don't know if some was,
Makes sense. How you got such strict alcohol rules and all kinds of other strict rules, yet
yeah.
anyone from any age can consume all these really harsh chemicals that can have a far worse impact than alcohol does.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying with the liver. And I think that's another thing that, like, when
Mm.
I've been doing a lot of research and thinking about this, because I study a lot of Eastern medicine, acupuncture, and they talk about the chi, the energy of the liver. The liver really is, it keeps you alive. It's cleaning everything from the food, the alcohol, water, everything. But when you have all that gunk in there, the liver just gets overwhelmed. They can't do it anymore. So maybe the reason why people can't drink alcohol is because their liver's so packed full of all these other chemicals. That's how the alcohol is like, I can't do it. And the fatty liver for people
Mm.
without drinking is on the rise because your liver is so taxed. And then if you have cheap alcohol full of chemicals, and then you've got a rage going on in your liver. And I think that's what would lead to bar fights, lead to the really bad attributes that alcohol gets blamed for, which of course, everything in moderation. You shouldn't go and just drink like 20 beers but you can enjoy alcohol in moderation without all those effects. If the alcohol is clean, the alcohol is good quality, and it comes from a good source. Because, like I was saying, the glyphosate survives. So you've got GMOs in your beer. You've got glyphosate in the beer you're drinking, especially fermented. Because at least the distillation
Mm.
is higher temperatures, but it's still not high enough to kill the glyphosate. So I think that's why it's just a lot of people have no idea. And if they did know, they would completely change the items that they bought.
I'm just thinking, like, we're talking the way that we're talking, and I'm going to put my kind of, what's the word, sitting on the fence hat, and I'm going to look at this objectively. I'm
Okay.
going to say, so Tina, if what you're saying is correct, then is there evidence to point to that? Because I guess people would argue and say, surely it's okay because we've been doing this for X amount of time. It's obviously okay because we're allowed to produce it this way. Do you know what I mean? What is there some evidence we can talk about or point people in the direction of something so that actually they can really understand these things from a factual point of view, or at least a science-led point of view?
Do you mean for not drinking alcohol, or you mean from the negative
Yeah.
effect?
For example, for all these additives and all these kind of preservatives and whatever other products get added on to these alcoholic drinks and the effects
Yeah.
of them, and because people assume, right? People always assume that, oh, but if it's made it onto the shelf, then it's obviously gone through testing. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Is there some evidence somewhere? Is there research being done? What can we actually say that will validate this kind of theory, if you like, of it's being bad?
Yeah, there's tons of studies out there. And actually on the MAHA website, if you take a look there, and I know
Well,
real
what's MAHA? MAHA?
MAHA, yeah, it's Make America Healthy Again.
Ah, okay, American.
And there's tons of studies out there. I think it's Ohio University even said that, or it's Iowa, sorry, the GMO crops actually yield less than the non-GMO crops. So all the pesticides, all that Roundup, how many times has Monsanto been sued for cancer? Billions of dollars they've paid out.
Going to be good right now for something.
Yeah,
We were telling me earlier, there's a
yeah, they're
big
trying
talk.
to get immunity now from a lot of the individual states trying to get immunity from these lawsuits. It's like, how about this? Stop poisoning us. Like the correlation is there, the evidence is there. There's tons of things you can look up and see. And they talk about the gut brain health with the food coloring is particularly terrible for mental health because what goes to the gut goes straight to the brain and it causing a lot of behavioral problems in kids. And so there's tons of evidence out there. I could probably email you stuff if you want to add some links to this podcast,
I
but
will actually, Tina, because I just realized now, as I'm sure you know as well, this right. Like me and you, fine, we can understand this because we have done some research. We've had a look at these things. We understand this because it's an area of interest, right? That is like inherent in us, and we've gone through some tough times with our views on things, and we've not been wrong. I just know that the public listening may well have something else to say, and I think it's always important to guide them at least to the information that we may have looked at so that they can then make their own decisions on it.
right.
The idea is that people need to just do their own due diligence, have a look at these things and understand better the food Because even with ingredients clearly stated on the label, people still don't actually go to the effort to read what's on there or
Yeah.
actually even understand what those products are. Because it's the same with me. I look at an ingredients list, and for me, if I don't recognize half the words on there, I think it can't be good. Surely
That's a
I'll
good,
avoid it.
if
But
you can pronounce it, if it's a
yeah,
chemical, put it down. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I agree with you. Hit farmers markets, go to a local baker. Your bread shouldn't last a month. But exactly, I think that's it. You would think, and I think a lot of people assumed, oh, if it's on the shelves, it's got to be, it's been approved. Someone approved it and said it was safe enough. But that is not the case. And in fact, all these places have been sued. And so that's the only reason why they changed things. And they're investigating them now. And all these food activists are now in the White House right now helping making change, which is very exciting to me because they talk about this like we're finally being heard. We're not just yelling into the ethers. And there was the food babe who actually is a fellow charlatan. She did his Kellogg's petition, got like $250,000 signatures, and went to Kellogg's in Michigan, their headquarters, and here's the signatures. Please give us the European and the Canadian version that doesn't have all these to food color. It's got all the terrible chemical ones. Meanwhile, you guys in Canada gets the oranges colored with carrot juice, strawberry juice, things like that. And ours is straight up chemicals, yellow number 5, all these weird chemicals. And they literally had signs that say, get off our lawn. They didn't want to change anything. And they already make the product. So they're trying to do this. And it was very well televised. Their sales have gone down. And I think now with this movement, with the backing of someone in the administration actually saying, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not going to keep poisoning people. We're in a different, everything's different now. It's very exciting to me because it's not just the advocates because they're just normal people. You're talking about billion-dollar companies that can shut them down. I've seen campaigns that they've launched attacking these food bloggers, saying they're lying, they're discrediting them. And it's on your label. Where that's the thing, oh, it's not that bad. And I've seen people say you'd have to eat an astronomical amount, but everything has it. So if you had one item that had a little bit of something in it.
Everybody compounds as well. If your body can't get rid of stuff too much, then it's going to compound before.
If it's in all the food, all the water, your body can only do, then you see it. We're living it. If people want evidence, look around, look at the United States. We're the sickest country on the planet. Why is that? People aren't stupid. I really believe that I used to eat like a normal person. Now I can't because of what I learned. And it's just hard to get those foods. There's some places, there's food deserts. You can't get anything but the processed food. And they're actively trying to change that where it's, hey, instead of these ultra processed foods that can be on the shelf for years, let's get them the farmer's market. Let's get real food. Let's get real beef that's not full of antibiotics. So we're in an exciting time. And I want to be a part of that with alcohol. No one's talking about alcohol yet. And even if, say, for whatever reason, you can drink this poison tequila, poison vodka, do you really want your vodka, your drink, to be made from crops that are killing the planet? That's why. What is your vodka doing to the earth? Is it perpetuating GMO corn? Is it perpetuating more Roundup? Is it killing the bees? There's the thing with the bees, because, when you go to a biodynamic farm, there's bees, there's cows, there's lambs. It's like paradise. So if you care about those things, vote with your dollars and support the people who are doing the right thing.
See, now I've got a feeling that really the vodka brand is really just a megaphone for what you believe in, because you're clearly very passionate about this subject. And it's almost like you've, in a sneaky, smart way, you've created a product that's going to essentially act as your megaphone to get the message out. And I wondered, how are you going to pursue that further afield? And if I was to buy a bottle of Tina's vodka, what is on the bottle that would make me realize some of what you're saying or might point me in the right direction with this kind of information? And yeah.
Yes, I do have these nectar labels that say the non-GMO and my ingredients. Also, all over my bottle is symbolism for the planet. I have Athena's owl sitting on top of an Earth shaped like planet Earth. So it's a tree. If you look at it, it's an olive tree that symbolizes peace and cooperation with the earth, earth's wisdom, because it's smarter than we are. Work with it. And then also the Greek ancestry, the woman owned. And Athena, it's a bird of prey. Owl's wise, but it will kill you. It needs to. Sometimes you have to get in there and battle for this. It is an uphill battle because you got billions of dollars behind a lot of these crappy, cheap brands that don't care about the environment, don't care about the consumer. Clearly, if they're adding all these things to their brands, they don't care about you. They just want your money. And I would like.
But where can we find this? We haven't really talked enough about the product, really.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the product. So where can we find Tina's vodka?
Well,
What's Tina's vodka's journey for the next 12 to 18 months? What's occurring? What are we looking forward to?
I launched in California when I was there, and then my home state of North Carolina. So I'm in 2 states right now, and I'm available online. If you go to my website, tinasvodka.com, then there's a few stores that will ship internationally, and there's stores that will ship throughout the United States. Thankfully for the internet, we can do that. I can ship to 44 states. So if you're not in either of those states, to walk into a store. So yeah, you guys in Europe can order some of my vodka. And oh yeah, this one store in particular it's on my website on the online. And what I'd like to do is keep expanding. I've learned from other people who had their own brands that because I'm self-funded at this point. I am looking to expand because I need a bigger footprint. I've been doing everything myself. I'm the CEO. I'm dealing with the distributor, the manufacturer, everything. So I'm looking to grow my team, get some more help, like-minded individuals who get it. And I've been out there going to different restaurants, tasting people, going to ABC stores. It's been a blast. I've learned so much, and I'm so thankful for this experience. And then, like I was saying, with this new wave of clean food coming from the federal government, everything changed. Like, I feel like now I'm on an accelerated path, and I really want to get the word out even more and educate and be part of this movement that can make America healthy again.
Interesting.
Yes.
And with this movement of Make America Healthy Again, is there like a direct kind of link you can create, or can you be part of that movement somehow? Is there a way of, how do you become part of the movement? And there's other similar brands out there that are thinking the same. What is the kind of process, and what does that look like?
My cat has joined the conversation. Sorry, Maple has. You can't control a kitty. Yes, I would like to team up with like-minded brands. That's what I'm working on now. Maybe doing some partnerships with other tequilas that are clean, whiskeys that are clean, spread that movement and educate about, hey, here's a clean wine, here's a clean vodka to go with it. Let's all do this together. Because in the United States, I can never say alcohol is healthy. And I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm saying it's medicinal. And that's what I would like to do, is to form some cooperative partnerships where we can all do this together. Because it does take, I'm just one person. I've got a few people helping. There's King Neptune's. Oh my God, I love you guys. They have me, they're seed oil free certified in Wilmington, North Carolina. Fantastic food. Everything is organic, non-GMO. And they are featuring my vodka. They said I inspired them to convert the whole bar to organic and non-GMO because people think, oh, alcohol is poison. So it doesn't matter. But if you're going to go and eat organic, healthy food, why would you have a yellow number 2 tequila and a red number 5 mixer? Like, all of it can be clean. I'm looking for restaurants like that who are like-minded. They have me featured everywhere. I'm in there. They have a display with my vodka. People ask, they tell the story. And it's been a lot of grassroots, which I really do love. But I'm only one person, and I do need an army. So I'm looking to build that army now, and with people who really get it and have the same passion. It's not about the money. It's about let's join this movement and do something no one's ever done before, and clean up our farmlands, and everybody's healthy, and we come back together over dinner with a nice cocktail and food and make the world a better, more enjoyable place.
No, I think that's wonderful, Tina. And I think it's the first time I've had a podcast about a product, and we've ended up talking about everything around the product. And I'm almost not enough about the product itself, but I feel that like the product is really your voice, isn't it? It's your megaphone. It's your way of communicating a very important message that you're very passionate about. And I think in time people would recognize this way more than perhaps now. However, I do think actually there is a movement for sure. And I do see that the younger generations are a lot more switched on, really. They are much more keen to question the status quo. And I think there is going to be inevitably a movement. It might not be as fast as we want it to be, but for sure there's a movement in the right direction globally for all these things. And
Absolutely. But that's the thing, all the pollution goes everywhere. When you've got all the runoff and it's affecting everyone. We can all thrive and do this together because there's more of us than there are these greedy companies. We're the consumer.
no,
And like
absolutely.
States in particular, we're the biggest consumer on the planet. And we can demand better than that. We don't have to just accept poison. Like I encourage people, vote with your dollars, know what you're buying. And to talk about my vodka, I do have some etchings in the glass. I've got the alpha and omega here, and I've got the Greek word gnosis, which means knowledge. So it's like the field of knowledge. Not only is it the field where it came from, like more like the quantum field, what are you contributing to? What are you starting with and what are you ending with? Because that idea turns into the manifestation. If you start with, I just want to get rich, I don't care what how it affects anybody, you're going to end up with that. You're going to end up with that absolute, that at the end, I would like to bring something positive in the world and create and expand that into a positive result and know what you're drinking, know what you're contributing to. When you're buying Monsanto, when you're buying GMO corn vodka, you are contributing to more pesticides and death. Honestly, that's what it is. We all know that. So why not buy an organic vodka? Then you can do more organic, more bunnies, more worms, more deer. Everybody's happy and thriving instead of they've got cancer they were a hazmat suit and the suit leaked and now they've got stage 4 cancer in 2 months. Have you heard of these cases? Yeah, that's where I'm at with the vodka. But you're right. It is kind of like my megaphone.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's nice though, because I tell you what, it's difficult to have an opinion about these things and voice it in a way that actually gets through and cuts through the noise that's out there. So I think that's nice. I think that's a good way to communicate. And I think you found your vessel for that information and important message you want to deliver.
And it's also the best tasting vodka you're going to have.
I'm going to have a look, actually. I want to see if I can get a bottle over here. I want to give it a try.
You'll love it.
Tina, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time, your honesty, and your mission, and the heart behind Tina's Vodka.
Thank you.
It's incredibly inspiring, and I know listeners will take a lot from your journey. Do send me some links. That'd be great to post along with the podcast. And for you guys listening, if you're enjoying these conversations and want to support the podcast, please share and follow the London Food Network across all platforms. This episode is brought to you by Embrace AI Consultancy, where we help food and drink businesses streamline sales, marketing, and operations using smart, automated systems that save time and drive growth. Tina, thank you so much again, and best of luck with everything ahead. I look forward to keeping in touch about your journey and what you get up to.
Thank you. Likewise. Talk to you soon.